So I just want to officially welcome everyone to our Facebook Live tonight. For those that don't know me, I'm Mindwind from the Lyceum team. And tonight we have with us here our very own Dr. Anlang Wing, who is also an Amazon International bestseller with her very brand new book, Living in Grace, Living Your Best Life Now. And so before I get into tonight's live, where it's really just a Q&A session to go a little bit deeper into the book and her journey writing the book, I just want to invite Dr. Alan to say a few words to anyone who's watching.
Thank you, Mai, and thank you everyone for joining us for this live section. I'm so excited to be with you in this conversation. And in the past week, it's just like living on cloud nine, because the fact that the book Living in Grace, Living Your Best Life Now became a bestseller, not just in the United States, but also in Canada and in Australia, has been a tremendous honor for me personally and for the Lyceum team, for the organization that I have served. Because as you know, the book is meant to serve. So all the proceeds from the book sale is all go to the nonprofit called Lyceum, Life Skill and Professional Development for Success. So I'm so excited to see that this is just the first step. We are in the process of doing the printing book, and it will be available on Amazon very soon. But my heart is just full of gratitude and love. And especially when I seeing everyone from all different countries that kind of came and joined our book launch. It was a huge success. I want to personally thank Vic TV, the Kunti, especially Kunti, who have been working with me, and of course our Lyceum team that working around the clock around that time. And of course, I have to acknowledge a very special person, Miss Tui Fujimoto from New Moon Foundation. She actually the one that originated the 5 values of grace. And then I adapted it and built a structure around it with emotional intelligence and leadership. But without Miss Tui Fujimoto and New Moon Foundation, I would not be able to have this wonderful book that I believe will change lives. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anla, for sharing. So I'm so excited for you as well, too, because, at the end of the day, I know it's one thing to say, I have a vision of creating a book, and then to see the book come to life and to see it become an Amazon bestseller. It must be a very exciting, rewarding journey, but I'm sure there's a lot of hard work that you put into that as well. So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, especially since I've already read your book a couple of times, actually. It's a wonderful book, and there's just so many golden nuggets in there. So my first question that I like to ask you, if you can share with all of us, is really what motivates you to really write this book? I mean, I have an idea, but I'm curious to really hear your story.
Thank you, Mai, for the question. Basically, it came back to the time when I start developing the grace classes that offer to the students in Vietnam. So actually, the first grace classes that I developed, I was developing it when I was mourning my parents. As you know, and I share in the book, in 2017, I went through a lot of hardship, and it started like in January. It was the fact that my husband was hospitalized and nearly lost his life is really a shock. And then afterward, he came back. Then my mother passed away. And only 6 weeks later, my father passed away. And throughout all of this turbulent time, I was developing the content of the Grace class, and I still deliver the class. So from 2017 until now, I have witnessed the transformation from the students who actually took in the lesson. Now, grace concept is a great thing, but until you practice it and you truly embodying the value of grace, that you will see the transformation. And I witnessed so many transformation that my students went through when they took the class. And also my coaching client, when they implement this simple principle, it changed their lives. So I already thought about, I need to write a book, because in order to, I asked myself, how can I create an impact to as many people as possible? And that is my motivation. My motivation is, how can my message get across and helping as many people as possible? So I was thinking about writing a book, but as you know, it's just a daunting task, right?
Mhm.
People said that only like 2% of people who have thought about writing a book, until they have a book really in reality and serve, it's only 2% that can make it. So basically, I have to thank the pandemic. Because like in 2019, I was enrolled in a professional speaking program offered by the National Speaker Association NSA Houston chapter. And I traveled more than 55,000 miles to different cities to deliver keynotes, training, speeches. So not much time left for me to write the book. And then 2020 hit with the pandemic. Everybody, all the speaking engagement was canceled.
Mhm.
And actually, I realized that, especially during the first lockdown section, when all of us was in lockdown, I believe it's in May, I realized that I need to get this message out. I really need to get this message out as soon as possible.
In the book, you share a lot of strategies and a lot of different tips. There's one thing that they can take away from the book to make their life better. What would you say that one thing would be?
Now, if you read some books about emotional intelligence and also about neuroscience, you will find that most psychology is saying that every day we have around 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts, right? So our brain is just continuously thinking. So
Mhm.
from 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts, but 90% of the thoughts are the same from the previous day. So basically, you have a pattern of how you think and what things that you focus. And I mentioned in the book a very important fact that every second, okay, every second, our brain receives 11 million bits of information. That many bits of information, 11 million. But our brain is limited, so it only can process around 40 to 50 bits. That's why I use the word lens, because basically when you look at things, basically you use a very little size and 40, 50 bits. And
Mhm.
if you don't do anything, your lens it tend to be negative, or your lens tend to be, you know why? Because our brain is wired that way. Like you want to look at the worst case analysis so that you can take care and you can protect yourself, right? Our ancestor in the old days, they had that very strong instinct in our body that we always scan the environment and look for threats, look for some
Mhm.
bad things so that you can protect yourself. Now we but it has been like how many, like 200,000 years. So now we live in a different society, but our brain is still the same, it's still acting the same way. So if you don't
Survival
do
mode.
anything, 80% of the time you will scan for threats, you scan for bad things, and when you imagine the future, you think about the bad things first. And
Mhm.
guess what? It will cause you anxiety. Anxiety is worry about the thing that has not happened yet. Now during the pandemic, there's a lot of
Okay.
uncertainties. We don't even know if we're still alive next year. This time, right? The pandemic just took all of us become so fragile, and we're not sure about. So uncertainty causes anxiety, cause worries. I myself, I belong to that camp. I worry a lot. You know, I worry a lot before I practice grace, right? Because I'm a perfectionist, so I always want things got to be perfect. It had to be this way, and because of that, I never have a moment of peace inside my heart. I forgot my heart. So when I practice grace, and I still remember 2011 when I started practice meditation, it truly helped. And what is meditation? Meditation basically you sit down and relax. And you know, my friend asked me, Enlam, you sit down and you don't do anything, you just breathe. Forget it. I cannot imagine, you know, because I was very active all the time. So I had a hard time imagining myself sit down doing nothing and focus on my breathing and just like basically follow my breathing and set the intention of loving and kindness and appreciate each of the organs inside my body. But
Mm.
until then, I realized, then I start working on overcoming my worries. So worries, anxiety, and stress. Now, who would not have stress in this society? I guess nobody, right? Because you are a mother, like as I know you, like you have two little kids. Now, having kids and having children and making sure that, especially during this pandemic when they have to study from home, you know, a lot. And then cooking as a wife, doing cooking, cleaning the home, and then you also have your work that you have to do. Even you
Mhm.
work from home or you go to work, then you have the anxiety, oh, will I catch the virus and get back to my home, you know, all of that. And then all of the role of a daughter, if you have parents that elderly, that at the age that sometimes they got issue about their health, then you also have to perform the role as a daughter or as a son. And then your as a parents, as a teacher, you know, there's so many roles and there's so many demands, and you only have 24 hours. How many of you feel that you need 48 hours to live your life every day, right? so so all of that stress. Now, what those stress will do for you if you don't do anything, if you don't practice grace and you just leave it, you know, for your brain just to act, then they would say the stress, all of this stress, actually it causes your brain to release some hormone and some chemical that really damage your heart. Ah, amazing, it's damaged the heart. So heart attack is one, and it's also release some toxin that really damage the body. Your immune system will be severely impacted. And guess what? During this pandemic time, you want your immune system to be the best, right?
Mhm.
You want your immune system to be the best mechanism to protect you from the virus. So if you let the stress, you don't practice great, you let the stress handle you, guess what? You damaging your own physical body. And before you know it, your immune system becomes so low, you get sick easily and all of that, and you lose your physical health. So for me, practicing grace, you like even the activity that I just told you, which is like just like 5 minutes per day when you get up and 5 minutes in the evening before you go to sleep, and making sure you practice gratitude, because gratitude is the antidote of the other side of being stressful. Practice gratitude, like if you follow what I explained in the book, just 5 minutes, 2 minutes breathing, deep breathing, and really anchor on your heart, and 2 minutes for gratitude, thinking and reliving the experience that you feel grateful for. Man, you already automatically boost up your immune system automatically. So those are some of the very simple way that you can start practice today, and you will see the result within 5 days. Guaranteed.
So I know you mentioned earlier in the beginning, as you were saying, thank you about what an exciting journey this whole book has brought to you. Maybe I want to just touch a little bit on that because, you know, writing a book is already a feat on its own, but getting onto Amazon and become a #1 bestseller, international bestseller in multiple countries. I'm sure that is a challenge on its own as well too. So I don't know if maybe you can share about, your experience and how you feel receiving so much, support and acknowledgement by the fact that people are downloading the book and purchasing the book.
It's it feels so surreal, and to me, I think I focus more on the content. And every day when I wrote, I imagine the people who benefit from my book, and it make my heart sing. And when you make your heart sing, nothing can stop you. To me, the fact that if the book resonates well with people, it is because I wrote it with all my heart. I pull my heart out, and I only focus on. I have a little ritual every day, and I basically go into tears. I burst into tears, and tears of happiness. It's not like tears because you distress. Tears of happiness, and I did it every single day. Like in the morning when I got up, I practice this breathing meditation, and then I meditate a little bit further for my energy, which takes about half an hour. And that is another thing that I can share later on, but that is focused more on my body, scanning my body energy to make sure that it has enough energy for the day. And then what I love the most is that visualization where I see how the book can bring tremendous impact to the people who read it. So it make my, like, I don't know how, but Jim Rohn has a word say, you don't want to be on your deathbed, but you have not sing your song. So each of
Mm,
us have a song to sing. I'm not say singing here, it's just a
mm,
metaphor. So each of us, when you born, regardless, even you handicap, even you don't have the talents, people telling you don't have any skill, you do have something. And that thing need to be discovered and honored, and that is when you make your heart sing. And nothing, let me tell you, nothing, money, power, or whatever can pay as well as that moment when you sing your song. It has to
mm,
be your song. So somebody, the whole life they searching for the song to sing, they never found it, or they got distracted, they got fame, power, money, they got distracted, but they didn't really sing their song. So finding your song and sing it before you die, that is the best gift you can give to yourself.
Once again, thank you so much for coming on here to share with us. And I just want to say also thank you to everyone that have joined us on the
There are a lot
live.
of people joining, or how
Listening.
many people joining?
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know.
Yes. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope that you found some insights, and if you read the book, then I'm sure that you can now get a more understanding of the journey of Dr. Lam of writing the book. And if you haven't yet, make sure you go to Amazon with the link on Anlang the Coach Facebook page. Or you can go to you have a website, right? It's Dr.
Amnon.com/book, and then
That's
all the
right.
links there.
That's right. Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And once again, I just want to say good night, everyone. And thank you for joining us. And we hope to do more live to really continue this amazing and wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you everyone for joining us. And I cannot wait to see you in the next book launch when we have the print copy out. Thank you.